following show is for entertainment purposes only and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of Empire Media LLC, its subsidiaries, affiliates, sponsors, and advertisers.
Welcome in episode 138, presented by the Major Sports Network Detroit. I'm your host, Dorf, joined each and every week by Major Sports Network founder Adam Hernandez and Shawn Bell, who still doesn't have a job title after, God, we're 138 episodes in. I think I've been making that joke since the beginning.
You called him the MLB contributor last week.
That was on...
Did you want to go with that, or did you want to go with something else?
No, because that's not what he does for this show. That's what he does for, like, the video stuff we do for YouTube.
Oh, well, I guess he's still the man.
He still doesn't have a job title.
Yeah. Sorry, Shawn.
Let's say we've been doing this podcast for just a little bit over 3 years. Still doesn't have a name. Just still doesn't have a job title. He's off tonight. And actually, on a program note, none of us will be here next week because it's Memorial Day. And
so happy Memorial Day. Early Memorial Day, everybody.
So on that note, we won't be here next week. And Shawn's not here right now. So let's we are a little bit late. And like I teased on the Facebook Live before we opened, sue us. We don't worry. Pass. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're going to our Patreon. Patreon.com/themajors.
Great way to show that. I was going to try and get that in a little bit later. Patreon.com/themajors. Although Adam needs to make some changes because we don't want to do per creation. We'd rather do a per monthly thing.
Sue me.
On that note, we're going to get into it tonight. First topic on the agenda is the Calvin Johnson comments to Dave Burkett Dave Burkett of the Free Press at his football camp he runs annually in Southfield. Just to summarize before we get into the detailed quotes, Calvin's a little salty about how the Lions treated him on his way out. He will not go into specifics. And
is that him crying or something?
Yeah, via Dave Burkett.
Dave Burkett didn't put that in there. You put that in there.
No, I put that in there.
So what's the what are we asking here?
Essentially, just keep summarizing. Irked about how essentially his career health was treated down the stretch. Was upset that the Lions asked for some of his signing bonus back. Only 10% of what they could have asked, contractually required him to repay. And he doesn't, want to talk about getting his number retired because he's just not happy with how the relationship ended, and that you probably won't see him around. Okay. Is this? It obviously wasn't a mutually agreed upon departure. I don't want to say who's to blame, but I don't have anything better. Whose side are you on here? Are you?
Okay, well let's go down sure. The line here. What was the first thing he was irked about? The way that he was treated upon
his health down the stretch, signing bonus, and just essentially, generally over. It's very hard to understand exactly what he was trying to say because he wasn't terribly specific.
Offhand. Look, we could make assumptions all day long about what exactly he was unhappy about, because I'm sure there's more than the health thing. I'm going to go on to say that he was tired of losing. I think. Can
you blame him though?
No, absolutely not. And that's one of the areas that I agree with Calvin Johnson. He was tired of losing, much like Barry Sanders was. And let's not kid ourselves. Was the health thing an issue? Yes. He probably didn't want to be one of those guys that was, that was in a wheelchair or had trouble getting up in the morning.
Having both knees, both hips, and both ankles replaced at age 45.
Exactly. He doesn't want to be that guy, and that's understandable. However, if the Lions were out there winning Super Bowls, or they were going out there and they were competing every single year for a playoff spot, and they were going to the playoffs and being a team to look out for in the playoffs, I can guarantee you Calvin Johnson wouldn't be retired at this point in his career. Maybe now, but he wouldn't have hung him up.
Remember,
so
he's only
on.
been gone for 1 year.
Oh yeah, well, never mind. So I think he would still be around.
You
Sorry
still
about
think, had they been competitive more consistently, this would be his age, 31 or 32 season?
that. Absolutely, I think he would.
Think it'd still be around?
Yeah, absolutely. I think he would still be around. I think winning cures a lot of ills when it comes to an NFL career. If you're hurting, but you're winning still, that's going to add
fun.
Yeah, and you're having fun. Exactly. That's going to add some longevity to your NFL playing days. But if you're
especially in a guy like Calvin Johnson, who made significantly, he is the top 1% of earners from not just a worldwide perspective, but an NFL perspective.
Sure.
He was among the elite of income earners. If he's saved properly and you're not having fun, so you're never going to have to work a day again in your life that you don't choose to, and you've saved your money properly, you're not having fun, why keep working? If it's work and not fun anymore, why keep going?
Okay. Look at it like this, Dorf. Did Calvin Johnson accomplish a lot individually?
Absolutely. He does have the single season receiving yards record. Plenty. He's very high on the all-time leaderboard, especially considering he only played 9 seasons.
Were the Lions anytime soon on their way to winning a Super Bowl?
You could argue that any team is only as far as 2 seasons away. You can argue in the modern NFL.
But there's a button there.
This isn't his fault, but he is partially to blame for this in this sense.
Money.
The chunk of the salary cap that was taken up by paying him, plus a veteran, established high-end quarterback, means you're never going to have a complete team, and you're going to have to win a lot of games with a flawed and incomplete team. The Lions organization, with the general under the let's call it the general management of Millen and the Millen disciples, didn't seem capable of putting together a incomplete yet functional roster.
No, and you know what? I always refer to that as phase 2 of the Millen era, which the Lions were encompassed in.
The Martin Mayhew era?
Yeah. Well, no, that was part of it, but even when you got rid of Millen and you got rid of the majority of his awful draft picks, you were still...
Mayhew's drafts weren't anything to write home about.
No, they weren't. But you were still handcuffed by those large contracts when you were dealing with the NFL draft when rookie caps weren't put in place.
Oh, absolutely. That killed you to pick in the top 5 every year.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're
it's whatever.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's
guys don't get expensive until their 5th year.
Exactly. I mean, when you have Stafford, Calvin, and Adam and Sue all under contract, I mean that becomes a huge. And then
you literally have $60 million in 3 guys, and then you have to assemble, the rest of your 49 players with at the time about $90 million.
Which
that's really hard to do.
Which it's so good that the Lions, or not the Lions, but the NFL did something off topic here. But it's so good that the NFL did something about that, because that was a way to keep bad teams bad.
I never thought about it that way, but now you say that. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, you know what? It's the NFL's hard pressed for some good feedback, but I think that was a good.
Damn, no, that's like I had never thought about that before. That's not like earth-shattering news to me, but
yeah, I mean, it's a positive way to look at it. So I don't know who's doing that was. Maybe you have some insight on that, but
I don't.
But I think
never thought about it that way.
Good move on the NFL right there. So
I didn't even think it was done for that reason. That's an accidental side effect. It was more about just
really?
cost. I think it was more done by the union, players' union, at their behest and agreement by the league, because these guys haven't played a fucking down and they're making more than every fucking veteran who's been slugging it out for 10 years. That's bullshit.
And you know what? That's another good reason too.
And then you have no money because you have so much money tied up in rookies who haven't played a snap for you.
Yeah.
Then you can't afford to pay your veterans.
Sure. So where were we? I can believe it. He wasn't, as far as he wasn't happy about the way they handled his health.
Dude,
Dorf,
tough titties, man. You're no different than anybody else.
I was gonna say, I mean, isn't that the way of the NFL? I mean, wouldn't it be the same whether he was playing for the Lions or the Patriots?
It's not even just uniquely to the NFL. This is like a sports thing, man.
Not to mention,
especially professional sports. Like you're not getting paid to be hurt.
Not to mention, too, Dorf, Calvin Johnson came out this past weekend as well, saying that he hid concussions from the team.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
so you're just
isn't he kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth there?
No way that you can sit here and play, oh, I'm innocent in all this. I'm the innocent victim. Oh, but I'm hiding medical issues from you guys so you can't make an informed diagnosis.
Yeah, I can't. I'm sorry. I can't support him in that one. I love Calvin too.
Just say, yeah,
Calvin's great.
Just say you weren't having fun anymore,
and leave it at that.
I lost the. You know what? Football's hard. I lost the desire to get up and grind every day.
What else was there? Did he say anything else?
Kind of. I don't think Dave Burkett, because he's writing for a Detroit audience, flushed out this idea very much. But you saw Calvin Johnson comparing himself a lot to Marshawn Lynch, who also walked away from guaranteed money from the Seahawks, and then now is back in the league after a year. Seahawks didn't ask for any money from him. And also, here's another thing about that kind of irked him about the Lions. The Lions said, if you decide to come back and play, we're not trading you. If you're playing, you're playing for us. Mm-hmm. Just to kind of, I guess, hedge their bets against this as being some scheme to try and work, meander a trade to somebody else.
That's a tough spot too for Bob Quinn, coming in and trading.
Oh yeah, Bob Quinn. Here's your first day on the job. It is in the best long-term interest of your franchise that you're taking over to cut your who still has plenty of good playing years ahead of him if he chooses to play.
Not an easy task.
Hey Bob, NFL record holder, fan favorite. You need to cut him.
Do it. I'm not saying to do it, but I mean,
honestly, I think you and I sat here, and it was about this time last year. So it was before Calvin Johnson announced his retirement that it'd be in the best interest of the Detroit Lions to cut him.
Oh, absolutely, it would. I would. I was still conflicted as a fan.
As a fan who shouldn't care about the financial ongoings of an NFL franchise as much as we do, of course you want to see 81 on the field.
Yes.
But when you kind of do what we do here, I wouldn't call this professionally, but semi-regularly, mm-hmm. and you're forced to kind of take that analytical approach, you got to realize it's not in the best long-term interest of the club, the organization, to keep him.
Absolutely not.
And you know what? Calvin kind of did the best thing kind of for everybody. He wasn't feeling it anymore. He walked away. Mm-hmm. Save Bob Quinn from the, potential shitstorm on, oh, by the way, welcome to the job. You need to go, set your office on fire right away from having to cut him. That's a very, if he's a man of the Patriots organization, the Patriot way is to cut him and not even feel sorry about it.
No.
Not even a second thought. Because that's what smart organizations do. They don't get attached to names.
And how many Super Bowls do the Patriots have? I hate making that comparisons, but it's so true in many ways. I mean,
yeah, having a damn good quarterback is a lot of their success, and a damn good quarterback who's been able, for the most part, to stay healthy. Outside of the one season that Matt Castle had to start a couple of games, and then, Deflategate and all, but this is what they do. They fucking cut Teddy Bruschi.
He had a stroke though too. I don't know.
No, they didn't cut him. He played for a couple of years after that.
Yeah, I know. I want to know how that affected him though.
I mean, they cut fan favorites like this is a very not necessarily an equivalent scenario, but they cut Randy Moss,
end of his career.
Mike Vrabel, long-term great, multiple Pro Bowler. I mean, just look at the names of people that they have cut. I don't have a list in front of me, but it's damn good players who are fan favorites. But you know what? That fan base is conditioned. You know what? We trust these guys.
And
They know what they're doing.
And they'll bring in older players too if they need to. I mean, Junior Seau was at the end of his career when they brought him in. And they brought him in, and he was
very productive.
He was very productive for him.
And you know what? Veterans at the end of their career just wanting a ring. Guess what they do? They play for cheap.
But you know what, too? That was because they had a good supporting cast around them.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, and
they hoard draft picks,
and in part,
and they they have a couple high paid in prime stars. Fuck, I mean, look at right now. They traded Chandler Jones for a fucking bag of golf balls. And Jonathan Cooper, who they cut before the beginning of next season. Jonathan Cooper, a very big bad bust at guard. They traded a high-end elite is kind of a stretch, but a guy who just got paid $50+ million in an extension because he's a damn good pass rusher. They traded him for deflated used practice footballs. And you know what? There wasn't. Chandler Jones doesn't have, obviously, like the NFL records Calvin Johnson does. But that's the move a winning organization does. You know what? You're too expensive. We don't think you're going to resign. You're ready to get something for you. Well, we can.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Very, very understandable.
And you know what? Here, Calvin, to summarize, Calvin, I don't think you're going to... You don't need to mend bridges. If you don't want to be a part of the organization in any capacity going forward, then don't. It's up to you. It's totally your... Barry Sanders didn't want anything to do with the team for 20 years.
But he's back now.
He's back now.
And I think Calvin Johnson will be the same.
Yeah.
It'll be the same thing.
If you want to be away entirely from the game, and then part of the Dave Burkett story is this camp he ran at Southfield A&T. Mm-hmm. Doesn't advertise, doesn't publicize. People come who come. He's not here for him. He's here because he wants to run a camp.
Mm-hmm. He'll be back.
And if you don't want to be back, that's fine. If you want to do the Dancing with the Stars thing, if you want to be, if you want to get into acting, who knows? If that's what you want to do, by all means, go ahead.
Look, I don't care.
But at the same time, don't expect me to feel sorry for you.
No, and I don't. I mean, I feel hard pressed to feel sorry for a lot of guys who were able to play football for their entire lives and making millions of dollars doing it
and walk away relatively unscathed.
Exactly. Sorry. I love you, Calvin, but nature of the business here. As far as that money being...
Ultimately, you think you were special to the fans, but ultimately to any organization. This isn't even just sports either. I'm going to steal a line from... Actually, it's not even a direct quote. You're just I was going to say Upton Sinclair, the jungle. Mm-hmm. Allegory about the poor working conditions of the Industrial Revolution in the United States.
Oh yeah, look at you now.
I know. I actually read that. I'm not just not just like the blurbs about it in your history textbook.
We're going to start losing people now.
I know. Radio for one here, not even radio for two. You're just essentially a meat piston in the the machine. You're a replaceable part. Ultimately, the goal, it's a business, the goal of the organization is to get shit done.
I mean, you're a high-end part that sucks having to replace.
You're very shiny and chrome-plated and very valuable and expensive.
You're like the transmission of a car. But damn.
But ultimately...
I got to replace that?
Ultimately, time has to go... You got to keep going forward. I mean, if your transmission's broken, you got to replace it.
Yep.
Can't just sit there and wax poetically about, man, I wish we had that golden-plated transmission that we had. I mean, I can't believe I'm calling Calvin Johnson automotive transmission. But ultimately, don't...
Catalytic converter?
You're... ultimately, you're just another gear in the machine, man. If you're not interested anymore, broken or otherwise... the machine's got to keep moving. Got to find somebody to fill the job.
Exactly.
Kind of other breaking news here on the horizon tonight. We're going to move on from this topic now. Anibal Sanchez, kind of taking a slice of humble pie here, accepting an optional assignment to the minor leagues.
He could have told the Tigers to fuck off.
Lost.
Yeah, he could have told the Tigers to the fuck you, I'm staying up here. I'm not accepting that assignment, so deal with it. But you have a theory of what happened.
I have a theory that the Tigers approached Sanchez and said, we're going to release you.
But they said it was his idea. Are you going to get to that?
I'm going to get to that.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sure that, now this isn't confirmed, this is just me speculating. Tigers came to Sanchez and said, we're going to release you. And then Sanchez countered with, hey, I know you guys you're not happy with my production here. I'm not helping this club. You're still going to owe me anyway. How about I accept an assignment to the minor leagues? You send me down. I'll pitch me as a starter, and we'll go from there. Because they owe him regardless, whether he's in the minor leagues or playing for nobody. They owe him the rest of his $16.8 million this year and his buyout for next year. They're paying that money regardless. Why does Sanchez want to pitch in the minor leagues?
Are you asking me now?
I'm rhetorically.
Rhetorically? Okay, go ahead.
Because he hopes to pitch beyond this year, and he wants to be able to prove he can get guys out again. It would be very unlikely that he would end up in a advantageous situation if he is signed by anybody upon his release from the Tigers.
He's not going to get...
It's not like he's just, unlucky or younger guys kind of pushed him out of a job. He's been fucking awful. Unusable.
To put it lightly, yeah.
Yeah, a waste of a roster spot for going on over a year. And with that said, if he aspires to keep pitching beyond this year, he's what, 33?
Something like that, 33, 34.
If he wants to keep pitching in professional baseball, let alone the big leagues, he's going to have to use the rest of this year to prove he can get guys out. Even if he's hoping just for a minor league deal next year, if that minor league deal is going to be with anybody of substance or for any dollar value more than, prorated big league minimum, he's going to have to prove he can get guys out at some level this year. Wasn't going to get that opportunity likely anywhere else. So here you go.
And even if
it's mutually beneficial. And hell, if he figures it fucking out, he's a weapon down the stretch.
And you know what? Even if he did get that opportunity somewhere else, Dorf, you know what would have to happen? Toledo's just, 45 minutes away?
Don't have to move.
You don't have to move. You're going to have to be, maybe living in a hotel or whatever.
Yeah, you got to ride the bus.
Yeah, you got to ride the bus. I mean, yeah, that sucks, but you're not making any type of drastic change when you're going from the Tigers to Toledo.
Yeah. Honestly, 275 south to 75. I think he lives in, I forget where, I think it's Royal Oak. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure it's Royal Oak. Find your way over to 75 south, and you miss all the shit north of Detroit where all the construction is, so you don't care about that, and just head south to Toledo. It's 45 minutes.
Yep.
Which, hell, from Royal Oak on any given day, depending on traffic, it's 45 minutes to Comerica.
Yeah, I agree.
Just, you know what? Go figure it out there. You get to keep the same coach, relatively same staff.
You know the organization.
The organization.
Yeah.
Got to move your kids. I'm sure that has some value to a veteran like Sanchez.
Sure.
Especially if, to be honest with you, his future in professional baseball is bleak. It really is. I mean, he's made plenty of money.
And it works out for the Tigers, too. Because
you're paying him regardless, and now you at least have a chance to recoup some of your investment.
Yeah. I mean, if he's able to
go down, have to carry him.
If he's able to go down there, pitch every day.
He's going immediately in the rotation at Toledo.
Or not pitch every day, but
every fifth day.
Every fifth day.
He's actually starting tomorrow. The guy they called up, Warwick Soppold, was actually tomorrow's scheduled starter in Toledo. They're swapping him out.
Basically, okay. Yeah, that works for me. I really don't. Yeah,
and Soppold's got bombed. He's been very nice at Toledo. 2.90 ERA at Toledo. He's made a couple of relief appearances here in the show this year, and 3 homers and 4 1/3 innings. Yikes.
Yeah.
The results weren't great last year either in relief, so.
Well, he's not going to be in the rotation here, so.
Whatever.
They're getting bombed with Sanchez.
Hooray! Now you only have one useless arm you can't use in high leverage situations. K-Rod. So, honestly, your honest assessment, does he have a chance to return to form, or is this just going to ride out the season in the minor leagues?
You know what? This time last year, I would say, yeah, he does have a chance. I mean, there's always a chance. But Sanchez has been this Sanchez
For over a year.
for a while now. And each and every day it goes on where we don't have the Sanchez that we're used to, or that we were used to before, where, he was, winning the ERA title. I mean, what else can you expect out of him? He's not getting any younger.
He's not, obviously not.
And I'm not expecting anything from him. Would it be nice to have him come back and be effective? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Tigers could use it. But I'm not holding my breath. I'm not getting my hopes up. At this point in his career, he's not going to be learning anything new that he's going to be able to.
Yeah, this is very much the scenario of you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
No, and it's not like the Sanchez, or not the Sanchez, but the Scherzer situation years ago when they sent him down and he came back up and he was lights out.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I wrote this up for the website just before you came out here to the studio. It's not like the Scherzer situation in that. Also, Scherzer was not an optional assignment. That was an option in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
Scherzer did not have the service time at that time
Nope.
to say, fuck you guys.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. He was going
he was going, whether if he wants to play professional baseball, he's going to do it in Toledo.
Yeah.
At the same time, Max Scherzer was, 25 or 26 at that time?
Still had stuff to learn. Or he could still learn new stuff. Sanchez isn't learning anything new. It's like a
An 8-year difference in age.
You know what? If anybody can remember Kenny Rogers when he was pitching, I mean, Jim Leland, the coaching staff, had a huge problem with the way that Kenny Rogers would dive off the mound after a ground ball. And they asked him, he's like, why don't you just tell him to stop doing that? And I think Leland came back and saying that he's,
He is who he is.
Yeah, he's in his late 30s, early 40s. I don't know how old exactly he was at that point.
I think it's late 30s. Definitely.
We're not going to get him to stop. This is something he's been doing his entire career.
His entire life, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a habit that's been formed over the last 30 years. We're not breaking it at this point.
Mm-hmm. And even a couple years ago when everybody was getting on Legendary Lloyd about the hitting, and Brandon Inge having hitting 250 or 230 or whatever it was back during the late 2000s. You're not going to teach Brandon Inge how to hit at this point in his career.
You're not going to break him down and rebuild his swing from
Absolutely
scratch.
not. And it's the same thing with
I mean, there's
Sanchez.
like one guy in the history of ever who breaks down their swing at that point of their career. It was Cal Ripken. He had a new fucking batting stance every goddamn year. I'm dead serious. Look at the fucking video. He had a new batting stance every year.
I know. I respect that too. That's great. I like that.
All right, I'm going to put an over-under out here. This is just a number I came up with. This isn't from a Vegas book. This isn't from the bookie down the street. Not that I know one of those. Over-under number of innings Anibal Sanchez pitches in the big leagues the rest of the year. I've put it at 12. Is that too high, too low, just right?
Are you banking on him being a September call-up?
I'm banking on him making 1 or 2 spot starts plus another relief appearance or 2. Because remember, we've got Dan Norris here who hasn't proven to be able to be healthy and let alone be effective recently. And Matt Boyd hasn't been terribly effective as well either.
I like that, actually. 12?
12?
Yeah.
A couple 5-inning starts and a 2-inning relief appearance?
Sure. And I think he knows that, too. I think he knows that the bottom end of this rotation is still a question mark. Dan Norris still
might have a chance to pitch in the rotation down the stretch.
Dan Norris still has some stuff to work on. Matt Boyd still.
Dan Norris has such good stuff. Just throw fucking strikes.
I know.
Stop falling behind people.
Look, it's part of the development.
Hey,
Dan
Norris, you've got really, really good stuff. You don't need to be so goddamn perfect.
Dan Norris is one of those guys too, where you send down to have him work on his stuff.
Listen here, fuckhead. You're going to go to Toledo for the next month, and you're just going to worry about blowing it past people.
Would you do that?
Fucking around. But my only problem is right now I don't
you don't have anybody to bring up.
I mean, Buck Farmer, Soppold.
You just said isn't good. I mean, it's.
I don't really like any of those options.
Tigers are in a shitty spot, dude. when it comes to
And
this.
plus, now you got to think about it too.
You got the old Zimmerman on every 5
We're going to
days.
get to that shortly. Zimmerman is on our shit list tonight. You've got now this week. You have 8 games in 7 days, right?
Yeah.
You got 4 of the Astros, and then you have 4 with the. Who did they play this weekend? White Sox.
Is it the White Sox? I don't have my schedule with me.
I'm not sure it is either. But you do have a doubleheader on Friday.
Okay.
Friday doubleheader. So you're going to have the 26th man for that. 8 games in 7 days. Oh, the first 4 of them are against the best offense in the AL. Have fun. Now's not a great time for the Tigers to need pitching help. So going for the only guy that the Astros are going to miss this series is Boyd, which of late is, God, it's hard to believe he's been worse than Jordan Zimmerman lately. Yeah, we're gonna since we're talking about Jordan Zimmerman so much, we're gonna rearrange the order that I have it in here. So we're gonna go to him next. Bleacher Report published something today that I stumbled upon. We're usually pretty big critics of the content quality of Bleacher Report. No, they did a nice job here today. Headline: Jordan Zimmerman on an unstoppable path to being a $110 million disaster. And boy, could I not agree more. Article by Zach Reimer, just cataloging the ultimate struggles of Jordan Zimmerman, about how every key, measurable and metric is trending in the wrong direction, and he just can't miss bats anymore. And home runs are up, velocity's down, movement's down, and the sad part is he's going to have to be like 3 times worse to still be the worst, contract in the history of Major League pitching. You and I I already quizzed you on this earlier in the day today. For those out there listening, I know I'm going to answer here in a couple seconds. Came from the NL West, 2 by value of cost of wins above replacement, has the worst contract of over $100 million for any pitcher ever.
Ooh, I know.
Played for the San Francisco Giants.
And the Oakland Athletics.
Be one Barry Zito. Barry Zito, 3 wins above replacement for $126 million.
God, he was so lights out, too, before that.
I know he was. God, that curveball. That curveball, though. Is the best value.
Who?
Take a guess. Everybody who signed $100 million.
Wait, did you ask me this earlier, too?
Yes, I have. $100 million or more and has completed their deal, not still currently in it.
He's not playing, though, anymore, right?
He is not currently on an active roster, but I don't think is officially retired as well.
I think you told me.
I did.
Do you want me to say
Go
it?
ahead.
Cliff Lee.
Yep.
Who's he on?
He's not with anybody.
Oh, he's just... Okay.
He isn't officially retired. I do believe. 21.2 million wins above replacement for $120 million.
Remember the rumor was the Tigers were going to trade Brendan Bosch for him?
God, I wish they had.
There was also that rumor out there. I forget who they were going to trade.
It was Quentin Berry for, it's like Quentin Berry, somebody good off the Orioles. I forget who it was.
I thought there was another rumor out there that they were working to get Roy Halladay. I forgot the players going the other way, but in the end, it turned out to be like, why didn't they fucking do that? I can't remember who it was, though.
Pretty sure it's Quentin Berry was the...
Was it for Cliff Lee, was it?
I believe, according to what I found on MLB Trade Rumors from 2011,
Yeah.
it's Berry and Bosch for Cliff Lee. Berry, Bosch, and prospects for Cliff Lee.
That sucks. That really sucks. Oh well.
Damn, what could have been?
Yeah.
It was so good.
He was.
All right. So if you want to find that, it is on Bleacher Report published today. Jordan Zimmerman. It's all bad, man. What are we gonna do with him? He's owed $78 million over the next 3 years.
There's nothing you can do. You just gotta hope. You gotta hope and pray that he's able to turn it around. There's nothing you can do. I mean, what do you?
Quite honestly, I think a lot of it has to do. I'm gonna go the eye test here. A lot of what he doesn't have a swing and miss pitch anymore.
Mm-mm.
Fastball straight. Velocity is actually up a mile an hour from last year. Straight as an arrow. Curve slider thing. Let's call it breaking ball.
Which gives you hope. If his velocity is actually up a mile, then you know what? That the hope is there that it's coachable.
Well,
you can get
the only
him.
problem is to go with a slider that doesn't miss bats anymore, and a changeup that you don't use and can't throw for strikes. All of a sudden, you're a 1.25 pitch pitcher who doesn't throw 95 plus, and you're in a starting rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. You get away with being a 2.25 pitch pitcher. If you catch my drift, or what I mean by that. You really you have to have two, like, if we want to use the 2080 scouting scale, you have to have two, like, 65 plus pitches to get away with just having two. You ain't getting away with just two, unless, of course, you have that. And Jordan Zimmerman currently right now he has an average fastball, below average breaking ball, and a below average changeup. Shit. And that's not going to, you know what? You're not going to be able to, cut or release or find salary relief from that salary for probably ever. That sort of stuff isn't going to play in the bullpen either. It's just not.
Nope.
You might have a Mike Hampton here.
Like I said, all you got to do is hope and pray that he's able to turn it around. That's all you can do at this point. I think that there is hope there that he still does have his velocity.
Velocity's not like at the high end level what it was like 2 years before he departed from Washington.
I understand, but losing velocity isn't a problem, it seems.
No, the velocity is more than workable.
I think it's still coachable. Now, is he still hurt? Is that a possibility?
I don't think so.
No elbow trouble. No, which if there was elbow trouble, I'm sure his velocity would go down. But
velocity, not necessarily velocity, but that could explain bite on the breaking ball.
Okay, that would suck though if he needed Tommy John or something at this point.
From the Tigers' perspective, probably not actually.
Yeah,
I'm sure the contract is insured for injury.
Yeah,
and that way you don't have to keep him on your active roster.
You can have somebody going in there taking a bar to his elbow.
No, I'm not gonna.
You're not gonna Nancy Kerrigan his elbow.
No. What was it? There was a story about some recently retired big league pitcher who was trying to make his UCL on his elbow snap.
Why?
Because it was mostly torn, and
he just wanted to get the surgery.
He just wanted it. Oh, they wouldn't do the surgery for him yet. But at the same time, he was having a decreased performance, and he thought the time was right. You know what? I can still make a bounce back at this point in my career if I have it now, but they're not going to do it. No one's going to let me do it now. So he tried to slam it in a door, essentially.
So bad.
Trying to tear it.
It's so bad.
I forget.
What the hell's wrong?
I don't want to say it was Phil Koch, but I think it might have been.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know what? Phil Koch is the type of fucking weirdo that seems like you would do something like that. What team is Phil Koch on now? Is he on anybody's team?
He's pitching independent ball.
Is he? Huh. Whatever. I guess at least he's still pitching.
I can't. I'll figure it out, but it's just I'm trying to think. There was some. No, I think it was C.J. Nikowski, actually, if I remember correctly.
How was it? Former Tiger. Played with a lot of teams.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't find.
Whatever.
I can't find it here quickly. So, yeah. Jordan Zimmerman, not good. I encourage you guys. We don't usually link into Bleacher Report because we think, generally speaking, their content's pretty. This one did a nice job. especially if you're more the analytically inclined or the metric based. You like the numbers. I got it all for you from reliable sources. So, another topic we had discussed at work, you and I, and another guy, the gentleman that works with us. The logical conclusion of this season is shortly, I would say within the next 6 weeks, you're going to see a Brad Ausmus firing or Brad Ausmus contract extension. Why do I say that? He is in the last year of his deal. Lame duck managers don't make it much to the trade deadline without one of two things happening: extension or firing. Unless they're very established towards, they have the credibility, like a Jim Leland, a Tony La Russa. You know, we'll fucking, you're gonna name a price. I'm gonna name my price. You're gonna say, knock $1 million off that. We're gonna come to an agreement at the end of the season, like we have for the last 3 years. You don't have that going here. So Brad Ausmus will either get a contract extension or be fired by the deadline. If history of baseball and essentially professional sports has taught us anything, that is what is going to happen. Which would you rather see? What are you going to more likely see? And will the Tigers buck the trend and sit on their hands until the offseason?
Ultimately,
yeah,
I think the Tigers are going to sit on their hands till the offseason.
Okay.
I think they are. If the Tigers are 5 games under come trade deadline, they need to fire them. Obviously. Okay. Obviously, they need to fire him. Brad Ausmus does not deserve an extension with this team. He doesn't.
Okay.
Brad Ausmus should have been fired, and I've said this to you before, Dorf. Brad Ausmus should have been fired after the Orioles series.
His rookie season.
His
first year's man.
Yes.
Former player, I have a hard time calling it rookie, but first year, yeah.
Should have been gone. When you're facing the Orioles, who are without, I believe they're without Manny Machado. You have Scherzer, Verlander, and David Price all in your rotation. You get swept and can't win a game. Goodbye. You're gone. There's nothing else. There's nothing else I need to see with you. It's not like this is a young Tigers team who are
veteran. You were more veteran laden than you are now.
Yeah, who made a run, a Cinderella run there at the end, and all of a sudden just ran out of gas against a more experienced Orioles team. That wasn't the case here. You have the best pure hitter in baseball on your team. You had one of the best right-handers on your team, one of the best left-handers on your team, 2 of the best right-handers on your team, and one of the best left-handers.
And you're forgetting you had future Cy Young Award winner Rick Porcello as well.
And you had Rick Porcello.
Who was the 5th guy in that rotation? Was that Dougie Fresh?
Was Fister?
No, because Fister and Price were never on the same team.
No.
It was Drew Smiley.
Yeah, you had Drew Smiley.
No, you didn't.
He was gone. Price. Yeah, he's part of the David Price.
Was the 5th grader?
So it was Verlander, Scherzer, Price, Porcello, Sanchez.
Anibal Sanchez. Yeah. Arguably, you could argue on paper at the current year, that could be the best starting rotation of the modern era.
And you can't win a game.
You can't win a game.
You cannot win a game at that point.
Isn't good pitching supposed to be good hitting in the playoffs?
Not in that point. Not
not there.
So what I want to know what Brad Ausmus has done from then until now to warrant a contract extension.
He hasn't.
He's done nothing.
Okay.
Are people going to actually sit here and say too?
I'm not saying he's earned it. However, could you see what we'll call a Jeff Fishering, where he gets an extension in the near future? We'll call it the next 6 weeks. That's fired at the end of the year.
No. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Chris Ilitch doesn't want to waste the money.
Chris Ilitch is penny pincher.
Yes. We've seen it already before. Because if let's put it this way, if money wasn't an issue, Sanchez would probably be gone.
K-Rod would be gone too.
K-Rod would be gone as well. But money is obviously an issue with Chris Ilitch. He's not going to do that. And answer me this, Dorf. You're a WAR type of guy. You like the stat, right?
Oh, wins above replacement.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll do kind of like history of warfare as well. But yeah,
What is? I guess if there was a war for managers, I don't know if there is or not.
I don't know that there is, but we'll go from it. We'll use it.
I guess from a war standpoint, or with the war stat in mind,
Wins above replacement
pertaining to managers,
Sure.
is there another guy on this roster or on this staff that would be worse off than what Brad Ausmus is doing right now?
We talking like current value or future value?
Current value. For instance, if they were to replace Brad Ausmus with Gene Lamont for the rest of the season,
Does the team take any steps backward?
that's the
as a
question.
result of the
That's the question right now.
I couldn't say no for Gene Lamont. I don't think they go further with him. I don't think they go. I don't think they're hurt. There's no addition or subtraction with a move to Gene Lamont. That's a lateral move, in my opinion. I think you could go based on track record. It would be a step back with Lloyd McClendon. He's now had 2 shots at it. Epic. You know what? Pittsburgh wasn't his fault, but he had more than enough talent
In Seattle.
in Seattle to succeed, and it just didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Omar Vizquel has never managed a big league, a game of any capacity.
And I'll tell you what, Dorf, if they were out of it and wanted to fire Brad Ausmus and replace him with Omar Vizquel, I'm
That's
cool with
fine.
that.
Yep,
I'm cool with that.
You know what? Give him the interim tag. Let him have at it.
Yep. But if they are a couple of games out,
A couple games out. When does that matter?
trade deadline.
Okay, so July 31st.
If they're like 2 or 3 games out at the trade deadline.
Out of the division lead.
Yes.
Okay.
And Brad Ausmus at that point is saying,
I'm assuming train Cleveland. Correct.
yes.
Okay.
Brad Ausmus is coming in and saying, I want an extension right now. Well, can you wait? Can you wait till the end of the season? Nope. All right. Oh, so you're going to give me the contract extension? Nope. I'm going to say, Brad,
Nice working with you.
no handshake.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that was real. It's
No
on
handshake?
camera. We just shook on camera.
No. Yep. It's. You know what? Thank you for your service.
I think I've just made up my mind. We're going in a different direction.
Yep. We're going in a different direction. Good luck with your, with your future endeavors.
Your future endeavors in baseball.
Gene, team is yours for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Would anybody have a problem with that?
I don't think so.
Like I said, I don't want Gene Lamont to be the long-term solution
as long as
here.
Gene Lamont doesn't coach in third base anymore. Notice since he stopped coaching third base and is just now the bench coach, no one bitches about guys getting held up at third base.
No.
If we want to talk war for coaches, Gene Lamont was a -2 wins above replacement third base coach.
Dave Clark looks so much cooler out there.
I know. It's because he can move a little bit. His hips are fucked.
With his crazy motions and everything. It's great.
Yeah. But Dave Clark, he is a above average wins above replacement third base coach.
I would like to see Dave Clark maybe be the manager there out of it. I want to see his signs coming in.
Hasn't he?
I don't know. I want to see his signs though coming in from the dugout. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how crazy that would be? It'd be theater, man. You look like a mime sitting there from the dugout giving your
Dave
signs.
Clark has only managed in the minors. He's never actually. He was the interim manager for the Astros for the end of the 2009 season.
Okay. Cool. But I don't know. Brad Ausmus hasn't.
He's managed a grand total of 13 games, by the way.
I'm pressed. I'm pressed to know if anybody out there, what has Brad Ausmus done that warrants a contract extension?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Has he shown any signs of getting better?
I would honestly, this year, I have no gripes with how he's handled the team.
Even with the lack of creativity when it comes to that lineup or that batting order.
I understand the rationale for it. I don't agree with it, but I get it.
I don't get it.
I get it. Veterans will be the back of their, will end up, water finds its level. They'll hit the back of what's on the back of their baseball card.
Okay, but
yada yada.
You know what though? You know what though, Dorf?
It's not like you have a platoon heavy lineup where you're sliding 3 guys in and out every day.
But it's not like Victor Martinez isn't gonna find his level if he's batting 6th.
I think we need to look at the splits for the last 4 weeks. I think collectively as a fan base here in Detroit, we need to get out V-Mart's nuts.
Okay.
He's been very good for the last
He
month.
has, but for that time that he wasn't,
yes.
Could they have been winning more games at that point and put themselves in a better position now?
Offense wasn't the issue, that was the bullpen.
Okay, but still, if you have an offense that can help offset that bullpen, then you could still put yourself in a better place.
I'm not dying on this hill. I don't strongly disagree with you, but I understand the rationale. You don't want to panic. It's April. You don't want to start, running around making rash decisions.
Nobody's panicking though. It's not like you're going to send these guys down. It's not like you're getting rid of these guys.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm not saying necessarily I agree with this logic.
You're a huge Ausmus fan. Admit it.
Jesus fucking Christ. You accuse me of like 3 things all the time. Brad Ausmus fan, voting for Donald Trump, and I don't know what's another one.
You did vote for Donald Trump.
Fucking not. Jesus. No.
You said Jeff Sessions was a great pick too for Attorney General.
I had no idea of Jeff Sessions' background as an attorney or a prosecutor of any.
I've seen your Steve Bannon T-shirts too.
Steve Bannon has T-shirts. I just want to look in for the cringe. Should seriously make a T-shirt. I'm not as cringy as Steve Bannon. And like that picture of him in shorts on the couch with like his guts spilling out.
Did you see the video of him in Saudi Arabia with?
Oh, he went on the trip.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh my God! I'll show you later.
So like wearing.
He looked so uncomfortable.
Mandals and Mandals cargo shorts and a wrinkled polo.
He looks very uncomfortable. Anyways, continue.
Okay, where were we? So, Brad, I understand the rationale for leaving things alone. You don't want to set off panic in the locker room and act like with a veteran group, act like you're managing with your ass on fire. The last thing you want to do is, have guys questioning what you're doing. Veterans, they'll hit the back of their baseball card eventually. We're fine. We're not going to panic early in the year. I get it. I don't agree with it because you know what? What are you doing for me now? And if we have a guy who's playing hurt or a guy who's, under the weather, but he's still one of the best 9 we can throw out there, move him down the order, or this guy eats him up, let's move somebody else up, down, out, up, whatever. I'm very much of that persuasion because that's what the math says to do. However, I don't have to worry about, calling it like I see it from here, about managing egos, managing a locker room. I can make those decisions in that vacuum. So I don't like it, but I get it. You got anything else here, Adam, tonight, or do we want to wrap it up?
I'm all set.
All right, I think that's going to do it. Get the outro music playing, bro.
Let's see here. Epic B, maybe we'll go with this.
All right, that is going to wrap up this 138th episode of Motor City Uncut, presented by Major Sports Network Detroit. Join us each and every week, except not next week, because it's Memorial Day, and we don't make enough money for that. All right.
But we can if you go to our Patreon.
Oh,
the Majors,
shameless.
Or patreon.com/the Majors.
Shameless plug. All right. So for Adam, I am Dorf. We'll see you guys next time.